Oh yeah, everybody, it's Monday. Welcome to the Monday morning edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope everybody had a productive, great weekend, as we're going to do what we do each and every day, looking at our 10 to 12 futures markets from an educational perspective for both breakouts and reversal trades. Many of these trades were setups from last night's live trade room. So if you joined us, I hope you had a great session. If you have any questions, as always, send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the ES this morning, we're up 12 points, but actually have been unable to get above the overnight Globex high. So our Globex high was actually right after the open. And we've just been kind of humming in between this range. So I've got two breakout lines here. And why do I have two breakout lines? Well, our big picture is definitely heading to the upside. No ifs, ands, or proverbial buts about it. But we could see a little bit of a pullback. We've had a straight move up. And if we do get a bit of a pullback, the reason that we've got two potential breakouts is because there's a little bit of room from 31.81 to 31.38 for you to make a nice little day trade. I think that the better opportunity is going to be go to the upside, where your next supply level isn't until way the heck up here near 33.40, 33.33, I think is your next supply level. So you've got some room to the upside, provided now both of these need basing in order to be actually good opportunities. And then below there, we've got a couple areas of demand where we may see some potential reversals. Looking over at the Russell as our next market, same kind of picture. We got a little bit of a breakout here, but I didn't get basing, right? So I got one candle and then we popped above. So I'm still looking into this area for potential breakout, but I would definitely have needed to see a bit more basing. But definitely more to the upside would be the area where we're looking for on the Russell, as well as the NASDAQ. Now, in the NASDAQ, we did look at a very small wick over wick level for potential reversal. Price came into there last night, and now it's kind of done a whole lot of nothing. So, even if you took the trade, your 6 candle rule, because that was off of a 15-minute chart, your 6 candle rule has definitely played in, and you've gotten really no movement out of that zone. Now, there is a lower wick over wick right here, which is probably a slightly better one, and that's formed right at the open from Friday. The downside of this is the basing that we're getting in front of it, right? That basing in front of the level makes this wick over wick a little bit less probable. So if you want to take this, it might make sense to go to a slightly smaller time frame and to just take the lower half of this zone, right? And the reason I would say the lower half of this zone is because now you've at least got yourself a 2-to-1 reward to risk if we come into here. Now, basing in front of the level, for those of you that remember, is what I call the kiss of death, right? Kiss of death is basing before a level. But now, since we're looking at it on a 15-minute chart, I need to switch my color to this purple color here. Looking at our crude oil level for today, as I move over to crude, I've been analyzing the September contract since there's still a lot of brokers that aren't letting you trade the July contract. But we have a little bit of a 41 as a potential breakout area. We would need basing to occur right in this region here for us to get anything out of that trade. And then our demand area is not any quality demand area, isn't until this 38 quarter region somewhere down in here. Gold, we have a very strong downward trend, which has been running, where we have a drop and then a rally and then a drop, and now we are coming close to getting another rally. Now remember, this is a 4-hour chart, and on our 4-hour chart, this is a big red speed candle. We anticipate those speed candles to get retraced for the most part, and that retracement would take us potentially back up into this region. So we're starting to get a little bit of basing before that region, but this is a really strong breakout trade, reversal trade possibility as price is coming into this zone. I'm going to tighten this up a bit. Sometimes I just draw these zones fairly quickly because I'm in a little bit of a hurry. Just know that when you guys are looking at these zones, I draw them fairly quickly just because I'm in a hurry and I don't have a lot to cover. The levels that I primarily look at on a supply zone, I'm going to take the body of the controlling base in the candle and then the top of the highest wick for supply, right? So the bottom of the body and the top of the highest wick is really where I tend to look. Moving over to our bond and currency markets as we slide over. So starting with the ZN, which is our 10-year note, we were looking last night at this supply area up above. Now, this supply area up above was the origin of this pretty strong move down from our breakdown last week. The other thing I was looking at was a potential gap and go trade below here. We did touch below for, just a tick, and now we're kind of moving along sideways right in here, but it could go a bit lower from this region. I think that our big picture trend is for price to continue to trade down, so look for a bearish opportunity in that one for today. In the Aussie, we have a potential breakout area up above. Now, I will say that our upward momentum on the hourly chart has definitely stalled and is slowing a bit, but this is pretty much all of our markets. All of our markets are definitely seeing a little bit of a slowing of the upward momentum. We do still have a bit of an ascending triangle right here, which typically leads to a decent breakout to the upside, but I still want to see basing happening somewhere around this gray rectangle. If we're going to get basing, I want it to be right. We want our basing to happen immediately before that area. That's really what makes for a good quality trade, is that there's basing immediately before that area. Next, in the euro, so in our euro level, we are coming down in the euro just a bit. Looked at this area last night, talked about a potential for a breakout above this 1324 area. It didn't really come, and then we've got this 15-minute demand just below us. Now, this 15-minute demand just below us was a pretty good level until we're getting a little bit of basing here in front of it. So I'm actually gonna switch this to a confirmation style entry because of the basing in front of the level, and you might actually get a little bit of a level up here for an opportunity to get short. Now, that's kind of counter trend. It's not the best setup, as it is a bit counter trend, but let's see if that one works for a nice quick day trade later today, right in there. Canadian dollar, we're sitting right below our potential breakout point with rising lows. So rising lows, basically the same highs. We got one touch to this level here. We've gotten 1, 2, 3 touches. Once again, basing around this gray box is what we look for a potential breakout to the upside. And then looking at our Great British Pound and the Japanese Yen, same picture that we're getting in pretty much all of these markets, is that we have upside movement in our currencies, but a little bit of a pullback. And in the pound, we have come back to our little level of demand. So if you're long off of this one, you do have a little bit of a move coming up from there. At a 2-to-1 reward to risk, you're going to take your stop and move it to break even as price is moving through that zone. And then the Japanese yen is also coming to the supply level. We actually touched our supply level, and we've moved away from it just a little bit, allowing for once we're 2-to-1 on this one as well, you're going to take your stop and move it to break even. So hopefully this sets you up well for your Monday. If you have any questions, as always, shoot us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. I will talk to you soon. See ya.